Hello, my name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Now, we're here in southeastern Michigan, in Berkeley, Michigan, and it's a quiet day here, but the temperature is going to be into the 90s. So we have our air conditioner on, and our new sound equipment seems to be able to cancel out that background noise. So as I edit it, we'll find out. So we're dressed kind of casual today because it's going to be really hot. And we're having a little sunshine tea, and I usually drink it out of the same container I make it in. Cooled down to be just perfect. And on our board, we have our discussion from our last video, which you can see is around energy. And we're going to continue that theme in our next video. But as a slight review, so that there is some carryover information, this is what we talked about last time. You are actually energy. Now, we think we're a body and we think we're solid, but as we look at energy, we see energy makes things move. And as long as you're moving, you're energy. If you move at a constant rate, there is no work being done, and therefore no energy. And of course, when you're dead, no energy. Now, we looked at the fact that we are interconnected with everything. And that's what this diagram is supposed to show. All these little circles are different aspects of your environment. And I said in there is you and me. And these little squiggly lines here represent springs. I want you to kind of get the idea that between you and anything, because you're connected with everything, between you and anything, is kind of a give and a take, a spring. So if you want to go one direction, the whole system operates to allow you to do that. And if somebody else wants to go in a different direction, you allow them to do that by the way you move. And of course, in the egoic world, we say, no, I have free will and I do what I want to do. And I don't care where you want to go. If I want to go this way, I'm going to go this way. Well, that's the thing. See, actually everything is happening behind the conscious mind and the egoic world. That's what makes it an illusion. When you're in the illusion, you think things that are not true. But you believe they are because that's the egoic belief system. It's all an illusion. Now, everything is interconnected, period. We went through AI on several different videos, found information, scientific information, that says we're all interconnected. We're all dancing to the same tune, but on a conscious level. we don't see it. Why? Conscious mind is so slow and so small compared to the systems that are operating behind it. We don't recognize it. Everything is interconnected. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. And that's what you're doing. And now on to our new adventure for today. I wanted you to have some excitement, so I'm going to show you how we make the magic happen. Aren't you glad I got a new whiteboard that has two sides? And this is our subject for today. And so let me get my little piece of paper and a little sip of my sunshine tea. By the way, why the sunshine? Oh, this is green tea and mint in filtered water. And I just set it out on my patio, which happens to be over there. And while the sun heats it up, that's not the important thing. The sun has certain energies in it, certain radiating. It's like your car. Your car, you set your car out, and when it's warm, and you go in it, and the car is hotter than the outside temperature. You say, whoa, this is really hot. What makes the difference? Well, the energy goes in with one frequency and leaves part of it and can't get out. So it builds up heat. And it is that extra energy that gets trapped in my sunshine tea and gives me different information from the sun. Now, here's what we got today. Oh, it's exciting too. And it's about energy. First, energy is. First, energy is. But here's how it's worded. I'll read it off my little paper. The truth. First, before matter, energy is. Before matter, energy is. Now let's look at our little diagram here to give us a start. We divided this into two things, the outside and way over here, the inside. Now those are arbitrary because there's no inside and there's no outside, but it is convenient to talk about. Why? Because our language, it doesn't matter in the egoic world, doesn't matter what language you're using. The language is developed around explaining the egoic world. And when you start looking behind the illusion, the language is not that precise. And it is difficult to explain some of these concepts uh, using the language uh, in the illusion. So we'll do the best we can. So over here, we have what's outside and we have the inside. And from our topic here, matter and energy, there is like a chicken and the egg arrangement. And we say, well, what came first, matter or energy? Big debate. Why? It's related to consciousness. We don't think so. And most scientists don't see it that way. But what we have is we have matter, we have physical stuff. And we say, well, the physical stuff gets complicated. And then out of that complication comes consciousness. And what's consciousness? Well, let's take a look here. Over on this side, which we say is the outside, is the infinite field of everything. Why? Everything is energy. Well, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if everything is energy. Maybe it's matter. Oh, that's what we're talking about. But let us start with recognizing the infinite field of everything is what we are embedded in. What is it? It's non-physical. What do you mean it's non-physical? Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. It's also what's out here is meaningless. It's meaningless. So what have we got inside? We got our finite uh, world, our construction, our construction of our objective world. We use our imagination to do that. And we are very, uh, uh, when we do that and use our imagination, we turn the meaningless here into the meaningful here. It's meaningful for us individually because we create our own world of objects based upon our imagination from past life experiences, beliefs, uh, or moral judgments, religious concepts, all kinds of stuff we use to create our world. So let's us kind of in this inquiry of matter and energy, we use our favorite person, which really isn't a person, uh, AI. And we ask the question of AI, can there be matter before energy? Is matter prime or is energy prime? Okay. And this is what she says. No, matter cannot exist before energy. Pretty straightforward. Matter cannot exist before energy. Well, there we are. So what else can we find out from this diagram? By the way, what is between these two concepts? The outside energy and the inside world that is created. That's why there's a big question mark. What holds these two together? Well, while you think about that, we're going to ask another question, kind of off the wall question. And we're going to ask it again of Google through Google search and AI. Where does energy come from? Where does energy come from? Well, that's a very interesting question. And here's what AI says. The concept of creating energy is complex. Complex. So anytime you hear AI or other knowledgeable people say, this is a key phrase, it's complex, all you're going to get is theories, ideas, and concepts. There's going to be no answer to the question, or multiple answers with no one being on top. And that's what we find. And going on with that, it is unknown, and all we have are theories. That's all we have. And to go on like this, here's what AI says in relationship to that. We know where the energy is, and we can change, and it can change forms, but it is not created or destroyed according to the principle known as law of conservation of energy. So we don't know where it comes from, and we can't destroy it. And that's what AI says. Now, I'm laying out this because a lot of people say, well, you're just using pseudoscience. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, that's why I use somebody that has more authority than me. And we're going to ask another question. Of the same authority, is energy non-physical thing? Is energy a non-physical thing? Straightforward. And AI review says in physics, energy is not a physical thing in itself. It rather is a property or a capacity of physical systems to do work or cause change. It is an abstract concept. It's an abstract concept. Here again, abstract concept, complicated process. Means the same thing. You're not going to get an answer. You're going to get theories, ideas, and thoughts. And all of those are non physical, as we discussed in another video, and I'll reference that. So we have a lot of information, first of all, that says energy must be there first before you can have matter. Where is it? In the infinite field of everything. Everything is there and nothing's missing. All the energy is right there, available to you. And so, but it's an unmanifested form. What makes it manifested? Well, we had Einstein say some time ago in another video, uh, the energy or part of it slows down far enough that the senses can absorb the information from that slowed energy. And what do we call that slow energy that the senses can absorb? Matter. Where does it come from? Energy. When it heats, when it has enough energy in it, you don't see it. Now, you might think about water. That's why I put water down here. Now, everything has a certain different stages. The water has, they usually say 3 stages. Uh, and water can be a solid, a liquid, or a gas. And when it's a gas, when it's vibrating very fast, like super fast, you can't see it. If you boil water on a stove, you see the steam coming up, but if you look right at the surface of the water, you're not going to see anything. You see the condensation after. So you don't see energy when it's vibrating at a very high rate. And right now, wherever you're at, you have hundreds of energies going through you at a very high rate. Radio waves, uh, microwaves, uh, your phone gives out a certain frequency. Even when your phone isn't using on your side or I have my phone here on your side, you're not gonna, it's vibrating, it's radiating. You don't know it. They say it affects you, but we don't care because we don't know it. So most of the energy you don't see. You only see what has slowed down to a point that your senses can absorb it. And so you're looking at the water as it's slowing down. Well, then we see the vapor, and then it coalesces into a liquid, and then it goes and becomes a solid. You say, whoa, look at that. We got an ice crystal. Well, now that's real matter. We know an ice crystal is something physical. Which came first, the energy or the matter? Yeah, I told you. You can't have matter without energy. What's over here? The non physical. What else is non physical? This is also known as the all or consciousness. Before matter, energy in all its forms is. Consciousness is primary. Consciousness is primary, and we are embedded in it. And from that standpoint, everything has consciousness. Now, what is between these two? Let's take this out and see if we can find out. How does this information end up as your world? Now, you probably have thought about that when you go to sleep at night. You're probably thinking about uh, things like that help you sleep. Why am I creating the world I am? I want another world, but this is the one I'm creating. Why is this one here? Well, I'm going to use only one. Here is an eyeball, and we know in the back of the eye, uh, we convert the input of the energy. Now, every one of your senses operates and absorbs different information. And my first book went through a lot of that. But for the eyeball, it absorbs light at, now I got to remember now, somewhere around 300 to 900 nanometers. Nanometers. That might not be exactly right, but it's pretty close. And your ears have a certain range, and your smell has a certain range, your touch has a certain range, your taste has a certain range, and there you are. But they're all separate. So what you're seeing, you're looking out here, you're seeing with the eye only what the eye is capable of transmitting to you. And so in here, you take that information and you have to do something with it's raw data. You got to do something with it. So what do you got to do? You got to you have to take the information, because this is just data. Now, this is the optic nerve. Now, what goes down the optic nerve? You think choo-choo trains and cars and puppy dogs, and no, it's all data. It's all electromagnetic and chemical data. That's all that's there, data. That's all you're getting from here is information. So you take the data and you have to do something with it. What do you do with it? Well, first of all, you have to find out which is important for you. How much of this data is what you are aware of or what you can use? You have to sort it. Now, in the egoic world, they talk about the limbic system and pineal gland and all kinds of stuff. But what is the upshot? You filter this information through what you know. And what you know is your subconscious mind's history, life experiences, your beliefs, your values, your moral judgments. And you come out to the other side with information that is just right for you. It's finite information because it's been filtered. Out here, infinite information. So you can't pick up infinite information. You can only pick up part of it. And then you create your finite world. That's where the meaning comes from. There's no meaning out here. Of course, Americans will tell you that. This is meaningless. This is meaningful. That's the first lesson. Nothing that you see means anything until you filter it, until you take the information and filter it, and then you make it meaningful. Fact of life. So now you have this information here. Where does it come from? It comes from the non-physical. It comes from the non-physical. Now here we got the chicken and the egg. Which is prime? Energy. Where does energy come from? Infinite field. The non-physical that coalesces and slows down into the physical. And then the physical says, oh, I guess I was first. And energy or consciousness comes out of me. I'm the creator. that makes everything. That's true, but it's not the way you think it is. So you are, in our discussion, first, before matter can be, energy is. The infinite field is. It's non-physical. It's meaningless. It's like water. You can't hold it in your hand. Try to go to a lake and get a handful of water and squeeze it. See what comes out. There's nothing there. So what does a course say in relationship to this? Now, why are we doing this? See, I'm questioning what you think you know. So let's see what the course says. And here's what it says. Questioning illusions is the first step in undoing them. Questioning illusions is the first step in undoing them. That's what we're doing in this channel. We are questioning the illusions that we're living in. I got to make some more iced tea. It's getting low. And so that's our subject for today. And I don't think there's anything else. Oh, oh. Just to restate, first, there is energy or the infinite field of everything, or the all or consciousness. By the way, that's also the first principle in the Hermetic 7 principles of self-mastery. The cosmos is mental. The cosmos is prime. Consciousness is before any matter. Oh, there's much to talk about here in the illusion. So let us see what happens in our next adventure, right here in the illusion. Bye now.